In the previous video, I told you the history of Zhongying Street, the boundary street of Shenzhen and Hong Kong. In this video, I'll continue with the story of this border area that's called Sha Tau Kok. I'll focus on the stories of the Hakka community living here since the late 17th century, especially about how they competed with the local Cantonese clans. Before starting today's story, I'll show you more footage of the Zhongying Street. From the comments of the previous video, I learned this area is open to mainland residents only. Considering most of you who are watching the video don't have access to it, I'll walk you along the Zhongying Street from boundary stone number 1. Here there is a gate, but it's locked. Outside the gate is Hong Kong.
According to my observation, people are very curious about the other side, and the designer of the wall definitely understands this human nature. They left several openings on the wall for us to take a peek.
This section of the Zhongying Street is basically a wall with reliefs of historical events of Sha Tau Kok. This is a sculpture based on that famous photo. Here is boundary stone number 2. Next to this boundary stone on the Hong Kong side, there is a pole. Let me zoom in for you. It's actually a portion of the track of a railway. That railway was the one that operated in 1912 and linked Sha Tau Kok and Fenling in the new territories. The train station was on the Cheping Street, a block away on the Hong Kong side. After the railway was dismantled in 1928 following completion of a new road from Fenling, some residents moved the tracks home. Today, the train station does not exist anymore, and this pole is probably the only surviving memory of that railway. Ahead is the border crossing I showed you in the previous video. From this point on, there are shops on both sides of the street. At this point, there is a small road on the Hong Kong side. I couldn't help but entering to see what it's like on the Hong Kong side. Warning: you've entered Hong Kong territory. You would be detained if you don't have a legal reason to stay in Hong Kong. Okay, bye. Let's keep walking on the Zhongying Street. This is the entrance to Sha Tau Kok I showed you in the previous video. It was actually a bridge over the Sha Tau Kok River. The Shenzhen side of Sha Tau Kok was basically a Hakka village plus a big market. The Hakka village is still there. It's called Xia. Today, instead of a village, it looks more like a community full of houses built by local villagers. Among the houses, there is an ancestor temple. It's the ancestor temple of the Wu clan.
There is an ancestor temple in the village. It belongs to the Wu clan. The Wu clan is a Hakka clan. After learning their history, I realized that they are real coastal Hakka.
According to the genealogy of the Wu clan, they migrated from North Guangdong province in late 17th century. It was also during this period, which was after the coastal evacuation order was lifted, large amount of Hakka migrated to this Mers Bay area. When the ancestors of the Wu clan arrived in this area, they actually settled down in the village 1 kilometer away. There, the family engaged in farming activities as Hakka people traditionally did. Attracted by the ocean, some audacious men in the family tried fishing in the coast. This was how they did so in the early days, by setting up nets in the shallow area near the beach. No laughing, ocean was foreign to Hakka who came from the hilly areas. In the early days, the men in the Wu clan would commute between home and the coast. But as they mastered the skills of fishing in the deep sea, they built some shacks on the sand dune and sometimes just stay in the shacks. According to the genealogy, in 1820, a group of the Wu clansmen decided to settle down in the sand dune permanently. That's the origin of the Shalanxia village. As fishing became part of their life, the Wu clan created a type of fish lantern dance. It incorporated the local lantern dance with the fish dance common in Dabu County, a traditional Hakka region and the ancestral home of the Wu clan. In addition to the freshwater fish that are common in the fish dance in Dabu County, the fish lantern in Wu clan's dance also include sea fish. That's a symbol of the mix of agrarian culture and marine culture. This road used to be the seashore before reclamation in 1983. If we enter from the street, we'll see a Tianhou temple. Obviously, when the temple was constructed in the 19th century, it was on the foreshore. Tianhou Temple is a folk religious temple for Ma-Zu, the goddess of sea. Originating from the coast of Fujian province, this folk religion is very popular in coastal regions and is part of the marine culture. Behind the Tianhou Temple, there is a smaller temple. It enshrines Earth God. In Hakka culture, which is part of the agrarian culture, earth or land is the fundamental element. This combination of Tianhou Temple and Earth God Temple is another evidence of the mix of marine culture and agrarian culture in Sha Tau Kok. A decade or two after the Wu clan settled down in the sand dune, a market was established not far away. It was documented in the report written in 1853 by Philip Wins, a missionary from Basel Mission. In his biannual report, Missionary Wins wrote, "In the village of Tongfo, Eastern Peace, there are no family houses because this place is a market. All the buildings are used as shops and workshops. Among them are 6 pharmacies. In total, there are 50 such shops, large and small, which are all built closely together." Missionary Wins even drew a map of the market. The town had 4 gates, 2 each to the east and the west. Notice inside the lower east gate, there is a small earth god temple. On this map, the west wall of the market is on the Wang Tou Street. I found the street in Sha Tau Kok.
This is the Hengtou Street. I know on the map it says Wangtou, but that's how Hengtou is pronounced in Hakka dialect. The western wall of the Donghe market and 2 western gates should have been on the street.
Missionary Wins said the shops formed 2 east-west streets running parallel to each other. Today there are also 2 east-west streets. Judging from their location, they could have been the 2 streets inside the Donghe market. Missionary Wins mentioned the main entrance was the upper east gate, which faced the granite bridge over the Sha Tau Kok River. But he didn't mention there were 2 watchtowers near the main entrance, which implies they were built after 1853. The watchtowers were mentioned in a book published in 1925. Sha Tau Kok itself is a fishing town, walled and of a type with 2 loopholed buildings sticking up out of it. These serve as watchtowers and are common to all Chinese towns. Usually they are the pawn shops or safe deposits. Unfortunately, the Donghe market was wiped out by a hurricane in 1937. Fortunately, we still have the Guanlan market in North Shenzhen, which was also a market established by Hakka. The Guanlan market could help us imagine what the Donghe market was like. Missionary Wins wrote in his report, "All who take part in this market have united into an association, which is called the Market Association. This consists of 11 small associations to which belong 45 smaller and larger villages." What Wins referred to was an alliance formed by the Hakka villages in the Merce Bay area. In the 18th century, the Hakka villages of the Merce Bay area combined into a number of alliance groups. 10 or 11 such alliance groups formed a district alliance called 10约, which means the Alliance of 10. The alliance's prime goal was self-government. They also seek to get rid of the influence of the local Cantonese clan who dominated the largest market in Shenzhen. With the growing of Hakka population in the Merce Bay area, it had reached the point where it could support a market of its own. The Alliance of 10 accordingly founded their own market in Sha Tau Kok. They also built the Donghe School outside the upper east gate of the market. It ensured the district as a whole had at least one high-standard school. The further goal was to ensure representation in the government, as the imperial exam was the only way to obtain governmental official positions in pre-modern China. Prior to establishing the Donghe market, the Hakka in the Merce Bay area had to sell their products in the Shenzhen market run by the local Cantonese clan. They had to pay toll fees to pass the bridge and the paths built by the local clan. They also had to pay rent for selling their products in the market. Founding of the Donghe market and Donghe school was a statement of independence, which challenged the interest of the local Cantonese clan. A common theory proposed the Hakka identity emerged in the Song dynasty. It might have been true, but I believe it was only after Hakka moved out of their traditional area in late 17th century and had to be united to fight for resources with local clans in their new home that the Hakka awareness was developed and reinforced. The leasing of the new territories to Great Britain in 1898 divided Sha Tau Kok into the British part and the Chinese part. Although the boundary didn't stop villagers from moving freely, it brought huge inconvenience to residents of the Alliance of Ten in terms of duties. Professor Hayes gave several examples. If villagers from the Hong Kong side bought a new plow animal, they were exporting live animals. If they took cloth to market to be made into a pair of pants, they were importing cloth. Duty in all these cases had to be paid. As a result, the elders were talking of moving the market over the frontier into the new territories. The border street could not provide sufficient space for all the shops. In 1931, a reclamation project began just west of the town along the frontier to allow the second border street to be built. It's called Xinlou Street. Shops on Xinlou Street were built in 1934 to 1935. The street became the prosperous new frontier. I don't have access to the Hong Kong side, but I can show you the Xinlou Street from the windows on the wall. Across the space, which might have been purposely left by the reclamation project, is the Xinlou Street. As you can see from my camera, the street is almost empty. Stores are closed. It's because the Hong Kong side currently is a closed area. But just as I was editing this video, on September the 5th, Hong Kong's Secretary for Security announced the Hong Kong side of Sha Tau Kok would be open in January 2024, starting from a quota of 1,000 each day. Visitors would be able to visit all area on the Hong Kong side except for the Zhongying Street. I'm very excited about the news. I already started imagining the scene of people waving at each other from the two sides. I'll end this video with the footage of the beautiful coastal trail and the reclaimed land on the Shenzhen side. Apartment buildings were built on the reclaimed land. The Donghe School was moved to the reclaimed land with modern facilities. A pagoda was erected in the park on the seashore. Residents are enjoying a peaceful life here. Missionary Wing said in his report, "The Chinese are very diligent people. They do not shy away from work, no matter how troublesome or strenuous it may be." I can't agree with the statement more. Let's wish Sha Tau Kok a prosperous future. In next video, I'll cross the border to visit several Hakka houses in Hong Kong. Do you find this familiar? I actually showed you this in previous videos, but I didn't expect to see it in Hong Kong. Although the owners of those houses were Hakka, they came from different places within the Hakka area, and houses have different styles. In next video, through those Hakka houses, let's explore the Hakka heritage in Hong Kong. I'm Yan Yan. I make videos about sites of interest in China and histories and stories behind them. Subscribe to my channel. I'll see you next time.